just dropped off this machine, the trailer, and this town is called King City, Ontario, which is pretty much a part of Vaughan, V-A-U-G-H-A-N, just north of Toronto. And everything is cool. I confirmed yesterday with the guy that this was a COD, right? Because I tried to work with the broker, like trying to get the money, you know, through my factoring company like I always do. And the factoring company had no record of them. No record. Like the DOT number, MC number checks out, but they said, okay, we can work with them, but only if it's a recourse. You know, like normally it's non-recourse. Recourse means that if I deliver the load and then they cannot get the payment from them, so they will pay me, right? Take their fee, but then if they cannot get the money from the broker, they'll come after me and they'll take the money. Like, I don't like that. I like money. I like money in my bank account or in my pocket. So anyway, so I told these guys when I booked this load, I said, pretty much my factoring company doesn't want to work with you guys, so it has to be COD or wire or prepayment. And of course next time I should take a prepayment. I'll tell you why. So basically there's a bunch of people involved, right? But I know this guy, he owns a concrete mixer company in Vaughan. Pretty big company, lots of trucks. Met a Russian guy over there. And I talked to him yesterday, to this consignee. I said, so how are you gonna pay? It's like a bank draft, you know. That's what I said. I don't want non-certified funds. I want something that as good as cash. Like you can give me either a certified check, or in Canada we have what's called bank draft. It's basically if you go to our Canadian bank, and you ask and you tell them that you need a certified check, so that's what they give you. It'll have it's like a very cool looking piece of paper with the bank logo, and basically it's like a check from the bank. It's like the bank gives you their check, and it doesn't even say that it's certified or whatever, but they said no, we don't have certified checks, we have bank drafts. And I remember first time getting this, I thought I was getting screwed, you know. I said, what? I don't want to pay 11 bucks for your bank draft. I want them like kind of like a money order, right? But anyway, so I told this guy, I said, I don't necessarily need cash because of course that's a nuisance, but I don't want a basic check with no guarantees either, because how do I know that I dropped the trailer and then I deposit the check and it's returned as insufficient funds, right? Now look at this guy. Jesus, you must be in a hurry, right? But the guy says no. He says, I'll give you cash. I said, US, right? He says, yeah, US. And so I hate these, you know, concrete barriers over here. And so I talked to him yesterday before I shut down in Cambridge. I said, hey, I probably am not gonna make it. Check out the weather, unbelievable. I was driving here, it was blue sky, but this stuff was in Cambridge when I was leaving. And I guess by the time I dropped it, it moved east. And so I checked with the guy. I said, so you have the money, right? And I said, this amount. He says, yeah. Okay. So I waited till sunrise today. The sunrise was at 7:45 a.m. So I set my alarm for 6:30, started driving, and got distracted by my brother in Moscow sent me the voice message, you know, like how we communicate like this. He records a voice message and then sends it to me as attachment in email. And I listened to that one like 10 minutes, and then I decided to record a response, and then I look at the clock. Jeez, it's already 7:45. Anyway, then I hit some traffic because the weather was bad. So eventually I got there. I told him I'll be there at 9 o'clock. And the guy, and I said, so where's the, you know, the money, the paperwork? And one of his assistants says, well, just go in the office trailer. He's over there. He'll sign everything and, you know, finish the deal. I go there, and the guy gives me a stack of notes, US currency, but it doesn't look very big, you know. And he says the number I'm getting is, how shall I put it? I cannot tell you the amount because I signed the agreement where it says basically cannot disclose the amount. Otherwise I will lose some, there can be some penalties and stuff like that. So I cannot tell you what this load paid, but basically the amount he's offering me, this guy, is roughly 30%. Let me see. Yeah, roughly like 25-30% less than what we agreed on with the broker. And I said, wait, hold on. I said, here's my invoice. This is the amount. Here's my rate confirmation. No, actually, I didn't have the rate confirmation. I said, okay, hold on. Because, you know, normally you don't show that to the consignee, right? You send that as a pack. When you send your invoice to the broker, you send them the rate confirmation, sometimes even broker agreement. And I told this guy, I said, hold on, I'm going back in my truck, I'm gonna print out the rate confirmation because it has the company name, it has the phone number. And the guy said, well, I don't need that, here's mine, here's my agreement. And he shows me the amount, and he says, I already paid them this much, so this is what's left, and this is what I'm giving you. I said, no, that wasn't the deal I made with these guys. And, oh, who did you work with? I worked with Rob. I said, I have no idea who Rob is. I worked with this lady, and I worked with this guy over here, right? And he's the manager of this company. And I dropped the trailer, but as if I knew it, I did not move away. You know, I left my truck. I made sure it was locked so nobody can move it, and I parked it in front of the trailer that was already on the ground, disconnected. And so I called the guy, I said, what's going on? I called I called the lady, my agent, she's not answering. And I'm like, shoot. So I leave her a message, and then I call her boss because his name was on the paperwork. And he says, well, somebody's already working on that. You left a message, right? So everything is cool. Just sit tight over there. We should resolve this in 5-10 minutes. Okay, because I thought I felt victim of some, you know, of some crooks or something. But anyway, so eventually the guy gave me that money that he originally had. Then he added some Canadian cash. And then we agreed that the broker will send me the rest by wire. And I said, wait a second. Wire will take 3 to 5 days. Like, I'm gonna leave here, I'm gonna drop the trailer. How do I know you'll pay me? Can you do a Visa Direct? And he's like, Visa Direct, what's that? I said, Visa Direct, when you can send money directly to my credit card. It's immediate, and the fee is like $8, but he never heard of such a thing. And he says, do you have a PayPal? I said, yeah, sure. And so he said, okay, we'll send you the rest by PayPal. And so I wrote down on my invoice, I wrote down received this much in US currency, received this much in Canadian currency, the balance to be paid to my address on PayPal, and the amount. And then I sent him a second email. I said, okay, I'm leaving the consignee. And they said, well, we're making arrangements with our financial company to send you the money. But you know, at least they're not hiding. Like the worst case is when you do this and then the broker is not answering the phones, you know. And that's why I said I don't need this hassle, right? Next time something like this, if I cannot factor the bills, I need 100% prepayment. Because then we wouldn't have this issue, right? Everything would have been resolved on that end. Because this guy, the consignee, says, no, that's not the amount we agreed on. And I'm like, what? Well, that's your deal with them. My deal with these guys was this amount, right? I said, why would I drive 1,000 miles empty and then drag this thing across 5 state lines and buy permits and burn fuel because it's super heavy, unless the pay was reasonable, you know, like what you're offering, it's not enough. And so I left the guy because I guess he realized that, you know, I did the work, right? And that's sometimes the hassle, you know, with being independent. But you know, you just have to use your wits. If something seems shady, or you're uncertain that you won't be paid, just tell them you want money on loading. I find that that's the best deal. Like I did it once, right? When I picked up something at Ritchie Brothers, and it was the same situation. Their credit history was bad, and my factory company refused to work with them. And so I emailed these guys and I said, I'm sorry, I cannot do this load because I cannot factor your bills. Your credit sucks, basically. You know, you try to be nice about it. So I said, I didn't use any F words. I said, your credit sucks, I cannot work with you, right? And then they offered me themselves, they said, we can prepay you by wire as soon as you send us pictures of this load on your trailer. I never heard of such a thing before, but I said, hey, if you're willing to do that, that would be perfect. And so I did that, they paid me, and what they did, once they send you the wire, of course, you're not gonna get that wire immediately, but they sent me a copy of the, like a computer screen that shows that the wire was accepted and it was sent, you know? And for me, that was enough confirmation. And then I think a couple of days later, I got the money. So it's always this, you know, you gotta stand your ground, you know? Like with this guy, I said, no, you know, I didn't argue with him too bad. I just said, this is what I got, this is the deal. I did all the work. This machine was, by the way, he told us that this thing weighed 20,000 pounds. You know, I gave him a scale ticket. I said, look at this. I said, this trailer with everything weighs 92,000 pounds, not 20,000 pounds. I said, I had to buy permits, right? I spent like, I don't know, probably $600 or $700 in permits. So yeah, I thought it would be like a happy movie, you know, but this kind of loads are always a bit stressful, you know. I remember I was stressing out at first because I was afraid that I would do this 1,000 miles empty and the load will not be there. But then, okay, the load was there, and then of course it was a very surprising load. Unusual, with a huge overhang, you know. I don't know. And then I thought I had it, but I still had some doubts. Like, honestly, I still had some doubts. And that's why I called yesterday this guy, and I confirmed. I said, you ready? You have the cash, like we agreed? You know the amount? And I think he tried to, you know, this guy tried to play me a little bit. But what's funny is that he paid me like 75%, right? And then the rest is gonna be paid by the actual broker, right? So the guy didn't have enough, like COD. So anyway, so now the plan is just to go home, spend the weekend over there, relax a little bit. And I ordered Blasting Bob resonator delete kit for my Challenger. And so it's basically, it's a 3-inch pipe which goes in the back, and it's only about, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet long, because the factory pipe is 2 3/4. So this will give me better, you know, exhaust flow, a bit more power. And then on the end of these new pipes, we're gonna install those new mufflers that I have in my car. They're called Flowmaster Outlaw racing mufflers, and they're very small, so they're gonna fit in the back where right now I have the resonators. And I need to drive across US line into Buffalo to pick up these pipes. So I paid extra for a 2-day FedEx, and I think I should get them either Monday or Tuesday. So before I leave on another trip, we're gonna do this upgrade of the exhaust system, and we're gonna do the road trip to Buffalo, and then install that thing. And I'm gonna do a video about before and after, how the sound changes, maybe some performance improvements, and we'll go from there. But you see the weather, like, unbelievable, right? Over there it was like Tundra 2000, I don't know. And over here we have sky, it is okay, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and the cops are sitting in the ambush with the radar. See? One guy has the radar facing this way, and another guy is parked like this, ready to go. So as soon as the first guy sees somebody, he says, "Go! Blue car! Second lane!" This guy goes, but I'm doing 94 kilometers an hour because it's very windy. I don't want to burn too much fuel, but let's see what we're doing now. See, it was 53 liters per 100 kilometers with that thing, but now of course it's gonna go down. I think it's gonna be about 22-24 liters because I have no trailer. Well, I made it to my yard, and my beauty Lastechka is here, and I was afraid that the trailer will hit it. No, I parked it properly. You see, I raised the windshield wipers. That's the smart thing to do in winter, otherwise there's like ice and everything is frozen together, melted together, fused together by cold. So now I just need to clean up a little bit. Where's my keys here? Well, we'll see if it works or not. So now I just send the I'm just packing. I just send the invoice. You know, I send them first my PayPal me address where they can send me the money, and then I realized that, you know, for the accounting, if it's a serious company, they might need something, you know, more official. And so I went to my PayPal, and you can easily create an invoice, like when you're requesting money from someone, and they have a pre-made form in there. So I filled it out, just put my name, my address, what is it for, the amount, you know, and also you can attach, when you do that invoice, you can attach other documents. And so I attached the original invoice, you know, for the full amount, and then I said, so far I received this much, this is the balance owing, please pay on receipt. But I drove 1 hour here, right, from where I drove the trailer. But they said it's sent to it's sent to, that's our $100 bill, Canadian, and this is $100 bill US. So they said they sent it to the financial department, but so far I didn't have any other emails. So I hope they come through and pay me the rest of my hard-earned money. Oh, and also one other thing I forgot to mention, what's happening is that I found a lawyer that I can talk to about hiring a driver. So this guy was a freelance, writer for the same magazine, trucking magazine I wrote to in the past. You know, I did like maybe, I don't know, 10 stories, like a real writer. They paid me, and I was doing stories, you know, on trucking, you know, how I was buying my first truck, some tips for how to save money on the road. You know, it was cool. And so this guy, he was writing stories on his specialty, like immigration. You know, immigration. Can Canadian truckers move to US? Is there any visas available? You know, and so I found, and that was like back in 2005. And of course, thanks to the wonders of the internet, I searched for his name, and turns out he's still in the same town, in the same state, but now he's a partner. He's a partner in a law firm, and it looks like it's like he's, you know, the name of, you know, like they usually just use a name, right? Let's say DRATCHEV and Karvinsky, whatever, right? And so his name is like that, so he's like owns probably half of that company. And I didn't think he would respond, but I found his website. It's like within 5 minutes, you know. Like I put in his name in Google and said lawyer, and right away I saw his website, I saw his picture, a bit older, 13 years older, but it's still the same guy. And it says contact, email. So I sent him an email. I said, hey, I have this situation, I'm a Canadian trucker, you know, want to hire a US driver. Like, is there something I should know? You know, I don't want to get into trouble, I want to do everything by the book. Like, what's the rules and regulations? But you know, I want to do everything by the book, but I want to take advantage of what's available. And you know, sometimes with this immigration stuff, it's hard to know what's available. You know, lots of people can be just scared to try something, but if it's possible, if it's not, you know, unlawful or illegal, why not, right? And I said, what is going to be your fee for a consultation like this? The guy says, $250. So, okay, how can I pay you? And he says, well, call this guy, he can take your visa over the phone, here's your file number, like the deal number. And he didn't say how we're gonna do it after that, I don't know. But now I'm back home, so I'm gonna go grab some lunch, and I'm gonna call that guy in New York and give him my visa, pay this $250, and then find out how we're gonna do this consultation. But I think this guy is very knowledgeable, you know, especially since he's doing this. He specializes in immigration, you know, and permits and visas. And $250, that's nothing, you know. If it can help me make some extra money or avoid some big fines, it's always good to, you know, get some professional advice. And speaking of advice, there's so much of this stuff online, like especially on YouTube. Like, you never know who the guy is. He leaves you all kinds of, you should do this, you should do that. Like, and how do you even know that this guy knows what he's talking about, you know? Because it's so easy to dispense advice, especially unwarranted, unwanted, unrequested advice. And this is one of those cases where actually I'm seeking advice, but I will take it only from a qualified professional that I know is qualified to give it, you know. Anyway, so this is it. Just off to the bank to deposit the money, and then call the guy and book the consultation and relax for a few days, and then go pick up my blasting Bob pipes, install them, and drive around in the Challenger and listen to the loud mufflers. Thanks for watching.